I'm donating all of these historic finds to the local museum system here in Finland. These were all recently found with my metal detector.
Up first is this truly epic battle axe from the Finnish Viking Age. This axe dates back about 1,000 years to the Finnish Viking Age, or immediately post-Viking Age. This particular style of two-handed axe is known as a Dane axe, or a tappara in Finnish, and according to the archaeologists, it's even more rare than the Viking sword that I found. I struggled to find any statistics on just how rare these axes are, and at best I could only find a handful of examples in the Finnish record. There's also a chance this axe could have beautiful inlaid silver designs on it hiding beneath the rust layer, but we will have to wait until Museo Varasto has a chance to clean and restore the artifact. Up next is a set of 6 Finnish Viking Age Beartooth pendants. These are almost certainly connected to an inhumation burial, meaning at the location where these were found is likely the burial remains of a Finnish Viking Age woman. There were other grave goods detectable with my metal detector still in the ground, but those have been left for archaeologists to do a proper excavation and study. These are in absolutely spectacular condition and only have a light layer of forest patina on them. These over 1,000-year-old pendants were worn by women as jewelry and perhaps symbolized the strength and power of the bear or indicated the social status of the wearer. Next is a spur from about the 1500s or 1600s. This particular find was found in connection to a newly discovered croft that I found hiding deep in the Finnish woods. This next piece was a bit of a mystery to me at first, but the archaeologists identified this as the terminal to an approximately 1,000-year-old Finnish Viking Age penannular brooch. Basically, this went to a fancy brooch that was used to secure your cloak or your cape or other piece of clothing. Always make sure to get a professional opinion when you find mystery objects. You never know what they might be. This next find is a late Iron Age trade weight. These weights were placed on a balance to measure quantities of gold and silver to facilitate trade. It's about 1,000 years old too. Speaking of trade weights, this little find is a cubo-octahedral trade weight from the Finnish Viking Age. While it has no connection to the prior trade weight since it was found in a different location, they both serve the same purpose to facilitate trade using gold and silver. This next find is a bit of a mystery fragment, but it's possible it's a mount for a pipe, but its lead-heavy bronze-like patina also suggests it could be a fragment of something even older. We'll have to wait to see what the archaeologists think. This next find is cooler than it looks. It's likely a piece of Finnish Viking Age hack silver. Not only were silver coins used as payment, but chunks and ingots of silver were used as well. Often these would be in cords that allowed them to cut off and weigh the right length as payment using the prior shown trade weights as a measure. Next is this early historical period finger ring, likely dating back to the 1500s or 1600s. I feel like I have seen a few of these found by other people before, but I was never able to figure out what they were used for. But it's possible it's just a fashion choice. Don't hesitate to leave a comment if you know what this ring is. Up next is what is likely a piece of a fire steel, which is a tool that was used to start fires by scraping at it with a knife. These were used since the Iron Age, so it could be very old or it could even be a bit newer. Next is a class of objects that archaeologists themselves are still debating as to what they are. One theory proposed is that this could be a whip handle. The whip itself could be inserted into the hollow end of the tube, and the hook was possibly so that the reins could be set down and hooked securely into place. Up next is a Finnish Iron Age knife, making this about 1,000 years old or possibly even older. You might be wondering why it's not all rusted like the other knives that I find, and that is because this has what is called a fire patina. When the owner was buried with this knife, they likely did a funeral pyre of some sort, which also burned the knife, which creates a protective layer from the rust. It's very cool to think what this pagan ritual might have looked like. Next is a fragment of medieval horseshoe. Horseshoes are pretty common finds, but when you see one constructed with these bumps on top, then you are likely in possession of a medieval age horseshoe. So do keep an eye out on these so they can be properly reported to the archaeologists. Next is an iron scythe blade, likely of Iron Age or medieval age origin. These are very difficult to date, but this one clearly has some age to it. We'll have to wait to see what the archaeologists think. This next one is some sort of a curved blade, probably a tool and not a weapon. It's probably also a scythe or a sickle of some sort. And this one also likely dates to the Iron Age or medieval age based on nearby finds. Next is an Iron Age arrowhead that I found in a waste dump from a farm field. It was likely scooped up by a tractor as they were taking off the top layer of soil off of a field and then deposited in the dump for me to find. If you're a longtime viewer of mine, you will know that I love finding keys, and this is one of the coolest style of keys I've ever found. It's a so-called pipe lock key and likely dates to the late Iron Age or medieval age. It represents one of the earlier key and lock designs which were competing for dominance at the time. I wish there was a way that I could find the lock that went to this and know what it kept secured, but I don't think we'll ever know for sure. This next find is a style of knife that strongly suggests Iron Age. I believe it is a so-called knife grave find, and likely somebody from the Iron Age was buried with this tool. The location of the burial site has been given to archaeologists, and I hope one day it can be studied to determine the nature of this find. Next is an Iron Age arrowhead. I found it in a random section of forest, so I can only imagine somebody was hunting and fired an errant shot and lost track of where their arrow went. Up next is a Finnish Viking Age penannular brooch fragment. This one was found in a farm field, so it's likely smashed up by the tractors. This next piece is a decorative end off of a post-medieval knife, probably a food knife, so that means it's likely a few hundred years old. If you want to support me on my journey of uncovering the history of Finland, please consider checking out these t-shirts I made commemorating some of my best finds. They feature the crests of the towns where they were found. A link can be found in my profile if you want to help me out. This next piece is a part of bookbinding, likely medieval or post-medieval, but it's a bit uncertain. We'll have to wait to see what the archaeologists make of this find. Next is a part of an Iron Age or medieval age fishing harpoon. It was likely used to hook either fish or seals. This tool typically had a few other prongs attached to a long handle, and it formed some sort of like a trident or quadrident. And finally, we have a pair of Iron Age arrowheads found in the forest, also likely lost during hunting. Like and follow if you want more historical artifacts in your feed.